Good morning, grade ones and friends from everywhere in Saskatchewan, and hello to my special friends in Regina. I miss you. I have a treat for you today. I am going to read to you The Big Bunny and the Easter Eggs. Now, I have some boring Easter eggs, but that's not what I'm talking about as my treat today. I have the biggest bunny. Can you say hello to Annie? She is a big, big bunny. Yes. And she wants to say hello to all of you. Hi, I'm the biggest bunny ever. This is Mrs. Ubell's pet bunny. But when I read the title of the story, I sure thought about Annie because Annie is big. Look how big her feet are. Isn't she the biggest bunny ever? Hello. I sure hope the Easter Bunny comes to see you. All right, I'm going to get the story started, and Annie's going to go play for a bit. Bye, Annie. Bye-bye. Thank you. All right, the biggest bunny and the Easter eggs. Look at this bunny. Painting away, painting all the eggs, beautiful designs, thinking about shapes and colors and lines. Wilbur was a very big and very tall bunny. He had great big ears and great big feet. I'm going to move to this side. And that was why he was chosen to be the Easter Bunny. He was strong enough to carry lots of baskets of Easter eggs. His legs were long enough for him to cross a road in a single hop. And because he delivered his eggs the night before Easter, he never had to worry about being seen. Now this reminds me of Annie's big feet. And when there is trouble, Annie will thump her foot very, very loud. And that will warn other rabbits that there is danger near. Everyone knows you're not supposed to see the Easter Bunny. This Easter, Wilbur had done all his work early. He'd woven lots of new wicker baskets. That's when you go in and out and in and out. He dyed the Easter eggs and painted them with pretty designs. He'd made lots of jelly beans and chocolate candy. Everything was ready to be delivered. Only on Easter Eve, Wilbur got sick. Oh no. You know, when you're sick, sometimes you just want to rest in bed. That's what Wilbur's doing. He's got a carrot bed. How cute. His head was stuffed up and his nose was runny. His throat was sore and he had a fever. His eyes were red and his ears hurt. Wilbur lay on his bed and groaned. Who is going to deliver the Easter baskets? Oh no, this sounds like a big problem because when the children wake up, they are going to want to look for their eggs. Hours went by and it was getting late. Wilbur's rabbit friends came and banged on his door. Wilbur, shouted Hector. Wilbur, you have to get going. Wilbur, shouted Francine. Wilbur, it's after midnight, Wilbur. Wilbur, shouted Charles. Wilbur, if you don't go soon, the children won't have any Easter eggs. Oh, I know, moaned Wilbur, but I can't get up. I'm too sick. Wilbur's friends banged on the door some more, but Wilbur felt too awful to listen. He took some more medicine, he rolled over, and he fell back asleep. Charles and Henrietta talked things over with Hector and Francine. Something had to be done. If Wilbur wasn't going to deliver the Easter eggs, they would have to help him. Hector and Francine loaded themselves up with Easter baskets. Charles and Henrietta did the same, and the baskets were so heavy that they could hardly walk. If the Easter Bunny does that all himself, if Wilbur does that all himself, he must be super strong. I like how they're solving this problem. The four of them struggled through the woods. Hector, said Francine. Hector, I can hardly see. That's okay, said Hector. Just try to follow me, Francine. At that moment, Francine bumped into Hector and Charles bumped into Henrietta, and dozens of Easter eggs crashed to the ground. Oh no, I like how the illustrator, her name's Janet Stevens, I like how she made the picture look dark so we can tell it's really dark in the forest. And the Easter eggs crashed everywhere. I think, said Charles, we'll have to come up with a different idea, a new plan. So he and Henrietta went to get the red wagon. Hector and Francine helped them load it with Easter baskets, and when it was all piled high, all four of them pulled the wagon to the road. Suddenly, the wagon hit a rock and it turned over. The Easter baskets were scattered everywhere. I don't think we can do this, said Hector. Soon it will be morning, said Charles. We'll have to wake Wilbur and get him up. When the four rabbits got back to his burrow, Wilbur was still asleep. As they pounded on his door again, he opened one eye slowly. Wilbur, shouted Charles. Wilbur, you have to deliver the eggs yourself. Wilbur, shouted Francine. Wilbur, there isn't much time left. Wilbur lay in bed grumbling. He blew his nose and he coughed a little bit. Hector and Francine ran into the burrow and dumped Wilbur on the floor. All right, he said. All right, I'm coming. He put on his earmuffs, his scarf, and his favorite jacket to make sure he kept warm. He put on an ice pack on his head, a nice big handkerchief in his jacket pocket, and he tucked a hot water bottle under his arm. Hurry, his friends shouted. Hurry, Wilbur. Wilbur shuffled to the door. I am going to do this because it's my job, it's my duty, he said. But you are going to have to help me. Of course, said Hector. Certainly, said Francine. We're your friends, said Charles and Henrietta. Together they helped Wilbur load himself up with the Easter baskets, and in a moment there were baskets up and down his legs and his ears, and finally he was ready. Wilbur struggled out of the woods, with his friends pulling the red wagon behind him. He knew he'd have to go in a hurry. It was almost daylight. But his joints ached and his head hurt, and his nose was running, and his cough was getting worse. He thumped up to the first house. Everyone was fast asleep. He left 2 baskets of eggs on the front doorstep. So far, so good. At the next house, he crept inside and left a basket by a little boy's bed. When he got outside, the sun was rising. Uh-oh, that means it's daytime. And a boy was bicycling into the driveway. He's delivering newspapers really early in the morning. Wilbur froze. He was much too tired to even run. The boy was sure to see him. At that moment, Francine jumped up and grabbed the newspaper out of the boy's hand. She tossed it in the air to Hector, and the two of them thumped off across the yard. Hey, yelled the boy, come back with that newspaper. And he ran after Hector and Francine, allowing plenty of time for Wilbur to escape without being seen. When the group was back together and Wilbur had caught his breath, he thanked Hector and Francine for saving him. But before he knew it, he was in trouble again. 3 houses later, he was leaving a little girl's room when he had a sneeze. He reached for his handkerchief, but not in time to prevent a huge achoo. The little girl sat up in bed. Wilbur dove under the bed. His ears and his feet stuck out. Any second he'd be seen. Then Charles and Henrietta pulled the covers over the little girl's head. Wilbur jumped up and ran out of the house. That had been close. But Wilbur's troubles were not over. Hurry, hurry, hide behind that tree, shouted Charles, as a woman and her dog began to chase him. Hurry, hurry, into that bush, shouted Hector, as he and Charles distracted a police officer. Look how big they can jump, right over the fence. Quick, under under that sheet, shouted the 4 bunnies as a man reached out to pick up his milk off his step. With so much hiding and diving to do, Wilbur left a lot of the baskets in very odd places for the children. But finally they were all delivered. Look how tired he is in the wagon. Wilbur was so tired he fell asleep. His friends had to pull him home in the red wagon. And when the children started looking for their Easter baskets, they found them under bushes, on fence posts, and hanging from trees. It was the strangest Easter they had ever had, but they didn't mind. Easter had never been so much fun. Look at even up in the top of the trees. So many good hiding spots. And Wilbur went home to rest. I think that's what Annie's doing right now, is resting, just like Wilbur. All right, thanks for listening to the story. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.